Mr. Jehl, your first opportunity to answer this. Currently, with few exceptions, the mayor can sign contracts up to $75,000 without the approval of the city council. Should the mayor ever be allowed to sign a contract without the approval of the council? If no, why not? If yes, under what circumstances should it be allowed?
Yeah, I think that this goes back. I think the overarching question is the power of the mayor, and I am a very big believer in precedence, and that we saw the wisdom of that actually just last week in council when the prior approval issue came up, and we realized that the issues that the mayor was trying to put forward and the contracts he was trying to get signed were rushed through, were not properly vetted, and ignored the contractors that should have been consulted on it. Ultimately, this goes back to a lack of transparency that we've seen with our administration. The Facebook, I think what's really got this issue going was the Facebook contract, where we spent a substantial amount of money without consultation of city council for social networking. But with that, we've seen Renaissance Square pursued with very little deliberation. We've seen a casino pursued with very little deliberation. We almost created a court system, a whole new judicial branch of city government, which we hadn't had in, up until now, with very little deliberation. And ultimately, what this goes back to is a lack of transparency, where the mayor is keeping city council in the dark, and it is not appropriate to expand his powers at this time. And it's not, in general, appropriate to expand powers, because our founding fathers were much smarter than we were. Thanks.
Mr. Gutman.
Yeah, obviously this has been an issue over the last couple of years. I would think a line item approach to the budget would solve some of these issues. The administration needs to look ahead and prepare themselves for what they're expecting in the coming years. They need to budget appropriately, and they need to include those things in the budget. And therefore, if it's in the budget, that's great. If it's not in the budget, then I would think they need to follow the same process, as the budget does. If it's a non-budgeted item, they need to come back to council and appropriate those funds. And then again, they need to come to council. They need to make their case for why they need this expense.
Mr. Gaines.
Could you read the last part of the question, please?
I'll just go ahead and read the whole thing. Currently, with few exceptions, the mayor can sign contracts up to $75,000 without the approval of the city council. Should the mayor ever be allowed to sign a contract without the approval of the council? If no, why not? If yes, under what circumstances should it be allowed?
Well, I think that, first of all, I think it's pretty clear in state statute what the duties are of the mayor and what the duties are of the city council. The mayor is the executive of the city. The council is the legislative arm of the city. I think that under, it would be hard to say, but I'm sure under certain circumstances, like an emergency or something like that, there might be a need for the mayor to sign a contract without council's approval. Time is critical. But I think in most cases, when we're talking about the issues that we all know about, that have been discussed here, the consultants and things like that, I don't agree with the fact that the mayor has basically carte blanche to just sign $75,000 away without any type of oversight. That's council's responsibility to oversee the legislative and the financial arm of government. And I don't think that any corporation that has a CEO would be allowed to make those types of expenditures without the board having some type of say-so in that. And so I think what has happened over the years, there's been a change in the process. The mayor's office is doing things that the council should be doing. The council is doing things that, or they've relinquished things that they should be doing. So I think that dollar amount needs to be lowered when we're talking about spending money on consultants and things like that. That's just good business, and it's good common sense.